All right, welcome back, everyone. Today, we are unpacking an absolutely crucial concept, 200 practical ways to min-max your personal finances. We're talking about the ultimate advanced optimizer's guide. Now, if you're a gamer, you probably already know that term, right? Min-maxing. It's when you ruthlessly minimize your character's weaknesses while maximizing their strengths to get the absolute best performance possible. But think about this. What happens when you apply that exact same aggressive optimization to your own money? That's what we're looking at today. We're digging into a wealth of financial strategies to help you sprint early so you can rest sooner. We're talking aggressive frugality, chasing those marginal gains, and ultimately buying back your absolute freedom.
Okay, let's dive into this by painting a little picture. Imagine two garages sitting on the exact same suburban street. The first garage is wide open. Inside, there's a gleaming $75,000 Ford F-150, and tucked against the wall is a 2,800 Peloton that, let's be real, hasn't moved in over 6 months. Inside that house, despite the couple earning a very healthy $210,000 a year, their checking account literally hits zero at the end of every single month. Now, take a walk 3 blocks down. The second garage, bare concrete. Inside sits a 10-year-old Toyota Camry paid for in cash, right next to a used bike picked up at a yard sale. But inside that house, they're sitting on a $35,000 emergency fund and hitting a massive 60% savings rate. One of these garages is filled with possessions, but the other? It's filled with something way more powerful.
And that powerful thing is margin. Margin is quite simply the math of your income minus your lifestyle. It's basically the ultimate high score for the advanced optimizer. You see, the difference between these two households is a fundamental behavioral shift. The first group is busy collecting objects, but the second group is quietly collecting time. Look, if you're going to min-max your life, you have to realize that true financial stability doesn't come from just looking rich. It comes entirely from the distance between what you earn and what you actually need. When that mathematical gap is wide, it creates optionality. It gives you the freedom to walk away from a toxic job, to move across the country, or to just wake up on a Monday morning and know that going to work is a choice, not a mandate.
There's a quote from the source material that just hits the nail on the head. It says, "Income creates the illusion of wealth. Margin creates the reality of it." Think about that. On paper, spending $195,000 out of a $200,000 salary looks like a pretty rich life. But financially, you are balanced right on a knife's edge. One missed paycheck, one medical emergency, and the whole shebang collapses. An expensive lifestyle without margin is just a really fragile lifestyle.
Section 1. The Mindset of the 1% Optimizer.
To escape that fragile lifestyle trap, everything starts with clarity, and that means nailing down your freedom number. Now, you might be wondering, what is that? Well, notice that it isn't just some arbitrary, vague goal like, hey, I want to be a millionaire. No, it is exact, ruthless math. First, you take your actual, bare-bones monthly living expenses, which means you've actually tracked your spending to know this exact figure. You multiply that by 12 to get your annual cost of living. Then, you divide that by a highly conservative 4% withdrawal rate, so dividing by 0.04. That resulting number is the exact amount of invested capital you need to generate your monthly income indefinitely. Suddenly, freedom isn't just a pipe dream, it's a concrete target you can work backward from.
And this brilliantly illustrates the mindset shift required to actually hit that target, calculating your cost per use. We are constantly tricked by flashy sales and cheap sticker prices. But think about it. A high-quality $50 shirt that you end up wearing 50 times costs just $1 per use. Compare that to a $10 shirt you grabbed purely because it was on the clearance rack. You don't really love it, so it gets worn exactly once. That cheap option is mathematically 10 times more expensive per use. The advanced optimizer knows for a fact that quality items used frequently will mathematically beat cheap items used rarely, every single time.
Building on that, the 1% Optimizer relies heavily on strict mental frameworks rather than willpower alone. Because let's face it, goals are just outcomes. Systems, on the other hand, remove willpower from the equation entirely, and systems don't fail. So let's rapid fire through 4 of these rules. First up, the 30-day rule. If you want a non-essential item, write it down and wait a full month. Almost always, the urge just vanishes. Second, the 10-second rule. Before putting anything in your cart, pause for 10 seconds to ask yourself if you genuinely need it. Third, assume popular is wrong. If the masses are financing cars and buying giant houses, assume it's a trap. And finally, front-load the pain. Target a 75% savings rate. Compress 5 years of intense effort into 2. Sprint early in your life so you can kick back and rest much sooner.
Section 2. Mastering the Big Three. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the math behind it. Housing, transportation, and food make up roughly 65 to 70% of the average budget. You can skip all the $5 lattes you want, but if you're driving a financed luxury SUV to a house that is twice the size you actually need, you are never going to build margin. Optimizing just these 3 slices of the pie creates the fastest, most massive financial gains possible.
Let's start with housing. I want you to look at this massive number, $3,800. The sources give this fascinating example. Imagine choosing a 3,200 square foot suburban home for $850,000. With your mortgage, taxes, insurance, and maintenance, that comes out to roughly $6,400 a month. Now flip the script. You choose a 1,600 square foot townhouse just 10 minutes away. Sure, smaller kitchen, less impressive driveway, but the monthly cost drops to only $2,600. The mathematical gap between those two choices, $3,800 every single month. That is instant margin. You can pull off similar results through house hacking too, buying a multi-unit property, living in one, and letting tenants pay your mortgage. If you took that $3,800 monthly surplus and tossed it into an S&P 500 index fund at a 10% return, over 30 years, it turns into roughly $7 million. $7 million simply from choosing the smaller house.
We see the exact same optimization play out in transportation. The absolute classic trap is the brand new $75,000 pickup truck. When you factor in the loan payment, insurance, fuel, and the massive depreciation the second you drive off the lot, the true cost easily hits $1,200 a month. Contrast that with our advanced optimizer driving a rock-solid 10-year-old Toyota Camry bought in cash. Maintenance and insurance might run about $350 a month. The gap here? $850 every month. If you invest that difference for 25 years, a single vehicle decision literally translates to nearly $1 million in future wealth. No joke.
And the third pillar is food. You have to meal plan like your freedom depends on it because, well, it literally does. Did you know the average household throws away over $1,000 of food a year? That's your hard-earned cash going straight into the trash. Next up, use unit pricing at the grocery store. Look at the cost per 100 grams. It's basically like having X-ray vision to cut straight through sneaky marketing and packaging tricks. And finally, the black coffee switch. A $5 daily latte habit runs you about $1,800 a year. Brewing a solid cup at home costs maybe $200. Invest that $1,600 difference for 30 years, and you're looking at over $250,000. Quick aside, if you're the kind of ambitious learner who loves finding that extra 1% of efficiency in life, you're in the right place. We are constantly breaking down the mechanics of wealth on this explainer, so make sure to subscribe to Fix Finance to keep optimizing your journey toward absolute independence.
Section 3. Automating your financial freedom.
Let's move to and see how this builds once your mindset is locked and the big 3 are totally dialed in. It is time to leverage modern AI tools to create an unstoppable automated wealth machine. The goal? Remove human willpower completely. Step 1. Use an automated tool like Tiller or AutoCAD to track every single transaction. It aggregates your data automatically so you can monitor your net worth without tedious manual entry. Step 2. Automate your investments. Set up transfers that sweep money directly into broad index funds the exact day your paycheck hits. You simply can't spend money you never had access to in the first place. Step 3. Outsource the low-value stuff. If an AI, a piece of software, or a virtual assistant can do a task for $5 to $15 an hour, outsource it immediately.
So, the crucial point is this. Min-maxing your finances isn't just about hoarding pennies. It is entirely about buying back your time. Time is the one asset in this world that never, ever replenishes. If you've built your skills up to the point where you value your personal time at $200 an hour, you simply cannot afford to waste your energy doing $10 tasks. Automating your budgeting, automating your investing, and outsourcing all those little friction points literally saves you hours of your life. You're trading a bit of money for time, which is the ultimate wealth move.
Which brings us to our final thought. I want this question to echo in your head before every single purchase you make from today onward. Because every expense carries 2 prices, the money you spend right now and the massive investment that money could have quietly compounded into over the next 30 years. You have to stop asking, can I afford this monthly payment, and start asking yourself this provocative question, what future are you trading away to own this today? When you start viewing every single dollar as a seed for your future freedom, the entire game of personal finance completely changes. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.